ISIS, the Taliban, and Al Qaeda. Those are the folks who discriminate. We bombed a building in 2017 like we never usually do. We bombed it because they threw homosexuals off that building. Our terrorist enemies hate homosexuals more than we do. They're the ones who discriminate. Our job in the military, our Navy creed, I'm committed to excellence and fair treatment of all. That's what we learn in boot camp. That's what we drill into ourselves each and every day while we're in boot camp. Please vote up on this bill.
They're the ones who discriminate.
Yeah, look, in American governance, especially in Florida politics, you never know when you're going to be confronted by an absolute confident bigot like that. But if it happens, I hope for myself, for all of us, that we're able to react in the moment, just like that woman in the white coat, absolutely shocked at what she's hearing. It seems a little bit naive, I guess. It is, after all, Florida. I feel like you should be a little bit more prepared for that. But anyway, that apparently went against her values, and so that is to her credit. In any event, he said they hate homosexuals even more than we do. And that is amazing in like at least 3 different ways. One, that he goes on to tie it to his military training, that he thinks his deeply, deeply aggressive homophobia makes sense coming out of all of his training and everything. The fact that he said we, he didn't say I. He just spoke as, all of us assembled, all of us here. I think we can all agree that we utterly despise these people. Remember a couple of years ago, we were pretending that we didn't hate them quite as much, try to get some to vote for us. We're done with that now. We all hate them. That is very confident to say something like that and attribute to everyone. And then of course, I think the worst part, well, other than just saying it at all, is he understands that he is talking about a group, the Taliban, Al Qaeda, who, among many other reasons that they were absolutely awful, is because of how much they despised everyone who wasn't exactly like them and were willing to kill people who were different. He sees that they do that. He doesn't think that it's a problem that he's on that continuum, moving towards that. Now, maybe he wouldn't violently execute gay people, or at the very least, maybe he's not advocating it for it right now because he thinks they still have more work to do to ready the ground for it. But he doesn't think that maybe we should learn something by the murderous homophobia of regimes like the Taliban. He's perfectly fine being in the conversation with those people. Jared, what do you think?
Yeah, this was the flex that he thought he was pushing. Like, we're not that bad. And by the way, he was trying to defend the military because they're fighting against some wokeism that they think is happening within the military. So therefore, it's getting a bad name. So the military is getting a bad name because we want to fight against any kind of inclusion, equity, or actually recognition of people as human beings within the military ranks. That's their problem. So this bad look on the military, he wants to point out to you guys, hey, we're not that bad. We only hate gay folks 97% of the time. Sorry. Which, by the way, also, where's the explanation for this? Why haven't we heard of Jeff Holcomb being on any kind of program, even if it's local, explaining why he hates a percentage of constituents who pay taxes, who contribute to the community, and I guess some of them voted his dumb ass into office. So when is the explanation gonna come that you hate tax-paying Americans? Because that's apparently what we only care about, is people give enough money so you can continue to have your positions of power. When are these folks finally gonna say, yo, if I'm not allowed to exist, why is my money real then if I'm not? Or if you're supposed to hate me, do you hate my cash? Maybe these folks should be exempt from participating in a government that doesn't recognize their existence or openly effing hates them? When is that question finally gonna be asked? And like you said, he says it in the indictment of his entire party. When is everyone else that's associated with this guy gonna be asked? Do you still associate with the guy who just said you're a bigot? Because he said you're a bigot, not me.
Yeah, I mean, what was it, 2 weeks ago that we had the, was it all gay, was it all LGBTQ people, or was it trans people specifically are mutants like the X-Men and they're demons? And then he kind of apologized and then went on about his life as if that wasn't one of the most deeply offensive things that anyone has ever said in governance. Yeah, this guy, I guess, is just gonna go on. He's just gonna state, yeah, no, we rabidly hate them. We're not to the point of throwing them off of buildings to execute them yet, but check back in the future. And yeah, the reason he's talking about this is to fight against wokeness in the military, a woke social engineering and experiment. that's eroding the military. How is it eroding the military? He doesn't know. He just knows that they used the word diversity once, and away he goes. If that justifies for him talking about how much everyone hates gay people, then that's enough to justify it for him.
One last thought, John, really fast.
Super fast.
This guy's a legislator, and he's making laws based off of how much he hates people. That we can make that direct connection because he said he hates people. So if you hate certain people, there's a reason why people hide that before they have any of these positions of power, because your biases and your hate and your bigotry just might sway you to position yourselves or to create certain things that go against the people you hate. I would argue that that's more detrimental and damaging and hateful than these terrorists who go and murder people immediately. They're murdering mass people, and then people's families are destroyed, and there's terror and there's fear and all this stuff surrounding. And then they implement their belief systems on folks that way. We do this systemically in this way. So if you implement enough laws, create enough judges that will back up those BS laws that hate people, it'll be a system of hate, not just these groups of people who want to murder folks. So we'll find different ways of destroying people's lives. Maybe they'll kill themselves. Maybe other folks will kill them too because of how much we've created this system of hate around certain people. I would put forward that that's just as bad, if not worse, than violence, bloody violence that comes at the hands of terrorists to maybe throw bombs at folks and kill them indiscriminately, cut off heads and all this stuff that we're afraid of. This is the confirmation of our systemic hatred and our systemic judicial system that layers certain folks above others. He's saying it out loud. We just have to believe him.
Yeah, he believes that wokeness is this war we need to engage in because people are training kids, they're grooming kids to accept other people's life choices or whatever. He is, to the extent that he can, with the persuasion that he tries to do in his speeches, convince people to be okay with increasingly murderous bigotry. Like we're told by people like Elon Musk, genius of the world, that wokeness ends civilizations. He doesn't have a problem. Do you think that Elon Musk is going to tweet about that? Does anyone think that? No, again, our priorities are all turned upside down. This will be a congressperson eventually. You think that he won't get elected just because of this? Like, they're not even saying anything at this point. It's absolutely insane.
I went too far with this.
Phoenix Dragon says, I'm a gay man who served in the Army Reserves 8 years total, tour in Bosnia. It's funny he mentions the Navy when most who serve know the Navy is the gay branch, LOL. 100%. I mean, look, he could know or not know. He doesn't care about any of this. It is a war that they have begun a couple of years ago. They've decided we've got nothing to appeal to anyone on. So we need villains. We can keep doing the caravan stuff that hasn't won us any elections. So I guess just talk constantly about LGBTQ people and hope that there's enough social and cultural hatred for those people that we can maybe get elected. That's all it is. That's all it needs.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.